everybody, today we are going to be looking at calculating X and Y intercepts. So by the end of this session, we'll hopefully be able to, if we're given a rule, calculate what the X intercept is going to be and what the Y intercept is going to be. And once we've got the X and Y intercepts, what we're then able to do is graph those intercepts. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, we know that in any given graph, all right, if we were to have a graph that has an x-axis and a y-axis, when we draw a linear graph, okay, no matter what direction we draw it in, there's always going to be one x-intercept, okay, where it crosses the x-axis, and one y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis. So this point here, where our point crosses the x-axis, is called the x-intercept, and where it crosses the y-axis, okay, so this vertical axis, we call that the y-intercept, and it's a value, a number. So in order to calculate the y-intercept, what we do is we are given our formula and we make x equal to 0. So when we calculate the y-intercept, we make x equal to 0. So in this one over here, I've been told that y equals 2x plus 4. So to find the y-intercept, I make x equal to 0. So y is going to remain y. 2 is going to remain 2. X is going to become 0. So we're going to go 2 times 0 plus 4. So this means 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. So in my coordinate, my x value, I always write it first, okay? So when x is 0, that means y is going to be 4. So my x-intercept is going to be at the value, my y-intercept is going to be at the value of x equals to 4. When we calculate our x-intercept, we do the opposite, okay? So when we calculate our x-intercept, we make y equal to 0 this time. So for the same rule, y equals 2x plus 4, what I can do is instead of writing y, I'm going to write 0. So 0 equals 2x plus 4. And you're going to notice here we're going to solve for x. So this involves us using algebra, okay, where I want to try to get x on one side and numbers on the other side. So the easiest thing to do here is to move this plus 4 to the other side. So to do that, I subtract 4 from this side. So I subtract 4 from this side. So I'm going to be left with negative 4 equals 2x. Okay, and then to get x by itself, it's multiplying by 2 here. So to get it to the other side, I need to do the opposite. I need to divide by 2. That's going to cancel. So I'm going to be left with x equals negative 4 divided by 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So I have found that when y equals to 0, my x is going to equal negative 2. So if we write our x value first, that's negative 2, and my y value second, which is 0, I have been able to find my x-intercept. So for this rule, y equals 2x plus 4, we have found our y-intercept and we have found our x-intercept. We're going to do that for another example. So first things first is we are going to find our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is when x equals to 0, and this is how I usually set my working out. So the first thing I do, y-intercept in brackets, I remind myself that this is when x equals to 0. So let's fill in our formula. I've got y equals 3x, but instead of x, we're putting 0. So 3 times 0, take away 6. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 take away 6 is negative 6. So therefore, my y-intercept is going to be x value of 0, y value of negative 6. Because remember, coordinates, we always write x first and then y. So now that we've found our y-intercept, we can find our x-intercept. So here, I'm going to say, all right, my x-intercept now is when y equals to 0. And again, this involves our algebra. So y is 0, so I'm going to say 0 equals 3x take away 6. We have to move the 6 to the other side, so it's negative 6 here. When I move it to this side, it's going to become positive 6. So let's go 6 equals to 3x. And then to get the 3 on its own, it's multiplied by 3 here. The opposite of that is divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. That's going to cancel. So I'm going to be left with x equals 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So I now know that when x is 2, y is 0. So that is my x-intercept. All right, that is what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to calculate the y-intercept and the x-intercept. All right, let's have a go at another one here. We've got y equals 2x take away 8. So again, we're going to calculate our y-intercept by making x equal to 0. So that's going to be y equals 2 times 0, okay, because x is 0, take away 8. 2 times 0 is 0, 0 take away 8 is negative 8. So when I write my coordinate, my x value is 0, my y value is negative 8. And I now have to do my x-intercept. So to calculate my x-intercept, I make y equal to 0 this time. So y is 0, 2x take away 8. All right, so we have to have x on its own. To do that, we need to move this negative 8 to the other side. Negative, when I move it to the other side, it becomes positive, or we add 8 to both sides. So it's going to be 8 equals to 2x. To get the x on its own, divide by 2. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. These cancel, so I'm going to be left with x equals 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So my coordinate is 4, 0. So this is calculating our x and y intercepts. What we can then do with this information is graph our x and y intercepts. So I am now going to go through how to do that. Okay, so over here for this rule that was y equals 2x plus 4, if I draw my y-axis and my x-axis like this, okay, remember x is horizontal, y is vertical. So my y-intercept, we said, is at 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3 at 4. My y-intercept, I'm going to plot that point. And then my x-intercept was my horizontal, which is at x equals negative 2. So negative 2, we're going to go negative 1, negative 2. And I'm going to plot that point. And now what I have is I have 2 dots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, okay, and I'm going to draw a line between those 2 points, which means using my y-intercept and my x-intercept, I have been able to draw a graph of that line. So we can do the same for these 2 over here. All right, so I draw my 2 axes, x and y. Okay, my y-intercept is at negative 6. So we're going to go negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Let's make this a bit bigger. Negative 6, I'm going to draw my point. And then my x-intercept is horizontally, and that's at x is 2. So if we go 1, 2, will be about here. All right, I've got my 2 points, so I can grab my ruler. A little bit disorganized, I don't have a ruler with me, so I'm going to use a pen. And I can draw a straight line between my 2 points to connect them. And we have therefore drawn the graph for y equals 3x take away 6. And the same thing we can do for this one over here. All right, if you have grid paper, it's a lot better to use. But basically, we're going to go, our y-intercept is at negative 8. So along our y-axis, we're going to go all the way down to negative 8, which we can say is going to be about here. Draw our point, and then my x-intercept is going to be at 4, which is going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, about here. I'm going to draw my point, and again, connect my 2 intercepts with a ruler, and I have been able to draw my straight line. Okay, so the main thing that we need to be able to do is calculate our y-intercept and calculate our x-intercept, and the way that we do that is important. So to figure out our y-intercept, we make x equal to 0, and to figure out our x-intercept, we make y equal to 0. That is because our y-intercept is our vertical point, and our x-intercept is our horizontal point where we are hitting the axes is really important. With those 2 points, we can then graph our straight lines. Please give this video a thumbs up if that all made sense. If you need some help, leave a comment below and I can answer any questions. Alrighty guys, have a good day.